Hi everybody. Today we are going to discuss about the topic which is the first unit of bio plus 2 syllabus, that is reproduction in organism. First of all, we have to understand what is the importance of reproduction, what is the definition of it, and what are the different ways how these animals are reproducing, both the lower organism and the higher organism separately. So first we will start with what do you mean by reproduction? Reproduction is a biological process. It is a biological process by which an organism produces its own offsprings. This is the definition for reproduction. And before entering to the reproduction, we have to discuss about a topic which is known as lifespan. Because for each and every organism, the lifespan changes, and in every organism, the reproductive phase also will change according to the lifespan. The word lifespan means the duration between or a time between a birth, time between or a duration between birth to natural death. This is known as duration. For each organism, it will change from, in many ways it will change. If the environmental factor is matter, what is the size of the organism, that matters. According to all these things, the lifespan of an organism change. The lowest, that means an organism which is having the lowest lifespan, it is it is reported to be a small fly which is known as mayflies. It is having the lowest recorded lifespan. The longest one, or the most, that means an organism which can live for a maximum time, that will go. Longest recorded lifespan belongs to a tree which is known as the banyan tree, which is having the longest records, which can live up to 200 years. And some of the people suggest that even turtles and the tortoise can also live up to 200 years. But as per the records, the average lifespan when they are considering banyan trees comes. The smallest one is mayflies, and the longest serving for the lifetime record span goes to banyan trees. After this comes the reproductive phase, or how the reproduction or which time the reproduction takes place. The organism's lifespan is divided into three phases. First is juvenile phase. First phase is called as the juvenile phase. The second phase is called as the vegetative phase. And the third phase is known as the senescence phase. The concept is very simple, that is, juvenile phase means from the birth till reaching the reproductive maturity, that is known as the juvenile phase. Vegetative phase means a period of or a time period that organism is reproductively active. Senescence phase is that period where the organism's reproductive capacity is lost. So these are the main things you have to see, because, and another one more thing, this lifespan condition will come only to the organism which are in higher phases or higher organisms, especially plants and animals. And we can see all these three phases very distinctively in mammals. For example, if you are taking a human, a juvenile phase starts from the day of the birth to somewhere 12 to 13 years, or as per the biology textbook, it is 15 years. And vegetative phase lasts from 15 years to somewhere 45 to 50 years. And for the males, it continues. For females, it will stop somewhere by 50, 55. Census phase, it is a period at which an organism dies. That means natural death. It is not a suicide or something, it should be a natural death. That particular phase is called as the senescence phase. There are two types of reproductions are there, which we you already knows that. One is known as sexual reproduction. Another one is known as asexual reproduction. We have to discuss both of this independently. That means in the next following chapters, we will discuss about the sexual reproduction in plants, then we'll discuss about the sexual reproduction in animals after that. First, we will see what do you mean by an asexual. What is the difference between a sexual reproduction and an asexual reproduction? If you see the difference between sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction, the main thing is in sexual reproduction, gametes will play the role. Gametes will play the role. In asexual reproduction, parents. That means from the parents, there will be no formation of any gametes. A part of the parents will be divided or separated from that and grow into a new organism. And any offsprings that is produced from this asexual reproduction can also be called as clones. Why? What the difference of why we are calling it as clones? Because these offsprings, which was formed from asexual reproduction, they are morphologically and genetically resembles to the parents. And if you want to understand this, what are these clones means, you just take an organism which is known as Hydra, the best example. We'll discuss about this. Hydra reproduce. Hydra reproduce basically by a process which is a common process known as budding. So in budding, what is happening? Hydra both, there is no separate sexes present, all male and female mostly they are found in one. One part of this hydra will bulge off like this. After sometimes, after it reaches to a maturity, this will fall down and develop into a well grown hydra, maybe after a week or something. And this process is known as budding. And why process is called, this offspring is called as clones? Because whatever the genetic material that is present inside this parent, the same genetic material will be present here also. Then whatever the character of this parent, the same character will be present here also. So this process of budding is run by a cell division process known as mitosis. In mitosis, you know that if one single cell is there, that cell can divide equally. equally into one. If you say this cell is having n number of chromosome, this also will be having n number of chromosome. If it is having 2n, this also will be having 2n exactly, which is known as equal division. Same way. So if this parent is having any abnormalities, default, or any other body problems, the same body problem will resemble in this hydra also, which is an offspring. And what is the advantage of sexual reproduction is, since male and females are coming together, that means n from, for example, if you are taking humans are having 46 chromosomes. When gametes are formed, it will be formed 23, 23, and this 23, 23 will mix together and form 46, which is an offspring. So here what is happening? When this 23 and 23 is mixing, there is a chance for variation. In sexual reproduction. There is a chance of variation. So if we are getting variation, then there is a chance for more survival. So best example, we can say that maybe some of the parents will have some genetic problems. Some of the offspring, if they have two, one will get, one may get, one will not get, or both of them will get, or none of them will get. Depends upon the how their genes are mixing, and that will study the genetics part, how they are mixing, what they are happening. So this two things you have to keep in mind, that in sexual reproduction forms gametes. In asexual reproduction, only one parent, that is single parent, that will give rise to the offspring. That offspring can be called as clones, because that particular offspring will be genetically and morphologically similar with the parent itself. Example is hydra, and the process in this asexual reproduction taking place is mitosis. And here in sexual reproduction, the this 23 and 23 is formed by the process known as meiosis. So the mixing of the chromosome here brings variation, which is very good for survival of the species. Here, if the parent is having any problem, the chance of survival of the offspring will reduce. Next, we will discuss about the asexual reproduction types. So, asexual reproduction, we have to discuss separately what are the asexual reproduction that takes place in animals and in plants. When we are discussing about asexual reproduction that is taking place in animals, some lower form of organisms are also coming. So, for example, it comes amoeba, yeast is coming. So all of this I have meant inside this animal. And the plants, they have two parts. One is the vegetative part and another one which we do artificially. So we have to discuss one by one. The first one, that is binary fission. The word binary means, bi means two, fission means dividing into two. If you are drawing the diagram, it goes like this. The best example goes is for amoeba, which is a protozoan. It is having a nucleus to the middle. So since this organism don't have any covering genetic, that means the nucleus is not bounded. Here what is happening is, first these genetic material will divide equally through the process of mitosis. After dividing through the process of mitosis, this will divide into two separate organisms like this. Remember, in the lower form of organism, since there is no nuclear membrane means the membrane that covers around the genetic material or the on over the genetic material. Since they don't have any covering over there, first the genetic material what is present inside this amoeba, they will divide mitotically. The process is mitosis, and they will divide into two. Because of this reason, amoeba or any unicellular organisms, they are immortal in nature. That immortal means there is no death, because here the parent is not dying, but they are getting two offsprings exactly resembles like the parent. So these lower organisms don't have death, that is they are immortal in nature. So this is the one of the best example which we can give for binary fission. Apart from that, for example, there are some other organisms out there which we call it as, which for example paramecium. Euglena. And if you see this paramecium and euglena, we can see something. Paramecium looks like that slipper shaped structures like this, which is having a mouth over here, and the genetic material is present over here. So this paramecium will also divide, that means their cytoplasm also will divide, but that cytoplasm division is not like what is taking place in amoeba, even though they are a lower form of organism. The paramecium will divide its cytoplasm. After the division of this genetic material, the cytoplasm will divide transversely like this. That means both the side they will get the genetic material, mouth will be present on both the sides, full structure they will divide off. Same way euglena. Euglena, you might have seen that euglena is an organism which is having chlorophyll, that means its looks like plants. It's a primitive form of plant. This euglena will divide longitudinally. That means if the euglena shape looks like this, they will divide like this. And euglena is having a flagella on one end, so they will divide to the middle. So these type of reproduction also we can see in lower organism. When we are discussing about amoeba, we have to know what is taking place in organism like euglena and what is taking place in organism like paramecium, because amoeba is very simple when we are comparing to these two organisms. So this you have to keep in mind. Next is that is known as budding. The best example for budding is yeast or hydra. I have already mentioned that if it is a hydra which is sessile, they don't have any movement. One part of the hydra, any one cell of this hydra will form a bulge like this. This bulging will be present till it is reached to a maturity. Then it will fall down to a space, new area, and it will grow into a newly developed hydra. And this particular bud, since it is formed outside of the body, this particular bud is known as exogenous budding. Exo means outside, genus means growth, budding is the process what is taking place. And if the budding is taking place inside, it is known as endogenous budding. There are some organisms out there which can form the bud inside also. The best example for the budding will goes for hydra. Next one, that is goes for fragmentation. Fragmentation. Term is very simple. This is also there in the lower form of organism. Example, planaria. Some of the worms like Palthyhelminthes are coming under the family. Sorry, phylum Palthyhelminthes. It's very simple. What is this is any part of the body, and planaria or flatworm, they both have a head-like structure, and they have their genetic material is present to the middle. But in fragmentation, what will happen is one part of this body, that means they will separate from that parental body, and it will come out. If it is an aquatic, this will fall somewhere on the ground and develop. Or if it is in a worm, for example in Palthyhelminthes, which is an endoparasite which lives inside our stomach, these fragmented part will come out through the fecal matters, and it will enter into another host. So they will search for a host. Once it is got a proper host, this particular fragment will develop into a new organism. And the best example for the fragmentation goes is planaria. Apart from planaria, there are a lot of some of the worms also, they do fragmentation there. Next comes sporulation. You know that spores are one of the most common method which was taking place in lower organisms. The spores, okay, I will mention here, in lower organisms. In sporulation, there are two are there. One is spores and one is conidia. That sporulation can be divided into two. And some of the spores, you know that, for example in penicillium, they forms conidia. That means penicillium is a fungus which is having a shape something like this, and over which then we can see small growth, which is said as the conidia. They will fall down and they have the capacity to develop into another organism. And the best example, this is a structure for conidia. The best example for this conidia goes to Penicillium notatum, which is a fungus. And next comes is spores. Spores means it's very simple. You know that in the lower form of organisms, for example, bacteria, or in bryophytes, or in some of the lower plant species, you can see that from the parental body or from the vegetative body, a cell will fall down. That means genetic material will be inside one, and this will be covered with a thick covering with the genetic material to the down, and this will fall down wherever it is, and they can develop into a new organism. And you might have also heard that the spores are of two types. One spore is known as zoospores. Zoospores are, zoo means animal, pores means a structure in which the genetic material are present. That means a thick covering will be there. And why they are called as zoospores? Because this spore is having one speciality. That means this will be a spore carrying the genetic material in mitotically, which is formed mitotically, plus they will be having a flagella. When this flagella is present, this organism or these spores have the capacity to move from one place to another by using water as a medium. So these spores can also help for asexual reproduction. And remember this, some of the animals, not all of them, especially comes in mammalian species, some of the lower form of animals, they also show these type of asexual reproduction. That is why I wrote that lower form of organism and in animals, because poriferans, they show some of the budding characteristics, fragmentation characteristics, etc. when we come to the reproduction. The next one goes to the plants. In plants, we can do it in two ways. One is vegetative way, that means the plant itself, any part of the plant apart from the seed, if anything is growing, that can be considered as a, that is considered as a vegetative growth. And next one is artificially. When vegetatively comes, that means by itself, plant itself, there are three, four are there. One is known as the bulbil. Bulbil means the plant part will looks like a bulb, how we are lighting, and this part will grow into another plant. The best example goes for this is agave. Next is runner. What is the difference between runner and offset? One part is coming offset, another is coming leaves. What is the difference between runner and offset? Is very simple. Runners, if this is a land area, runners will be having nodes near to the soil, and the internodes also will be near. That means distance between the two nodes, there will be no much distance, and they will run through the soil surface. And we can see many of the plants like that. For example, mulberry and some of the vegetable plants, they grows like this. And what is the different? What is known as offset? Offset means they also have internodes, but this internodes, the distance between the two nodes will be very far. And the advantage of this is this can flourish in in large area. They can flourish in large area. One example which is given in your book for the offset, it is known as water hyanthus, means terror of Bengal, meaning this plant lives in water, that is aquatic. It is offset, that means a one full lake, it is covered with this water hyanthus, which is having an offset type of reproduction, which is an asexual reproduction. Since it is there, many of the plant species, other plant species, aquatic plant species, plus fishes, they are not getting the required amount of oxygen what they want. So it is considered as a pest, and now they have started to remove them slowly since they can get more and more. The next comes is leaves, that means some plants. Leaves can also act for vegetative propagation or vegetative growth. One of the best example goes is bryophyllum. You have studied this, bryophyllum. That means if it is a leaf, the tip of the leaf will be having the growth with mitosis, and this tip will touch to the soil, and from there a new plant can arise. That particular example where the leaf is helping for the vegetative propagation, and the example for this is bryophylla. And one more thing which is not forgot right here, that is a rhizome. Rhizome means a club of roots. This is one among the most common thing we can see anywhere. For example, ginger, then banana plants. They have a growth. That means the new plant will grow through the rhizome. What is in ginger? What they are happening is Consider if it is a piece of any type, any piece of ginger, I consider like this. They have thick scales like this on this. If you observe very carefully, you can see this thick scale, when it touches to the soil, it can grow into new plant. It can grow. So farmers use this technique to grow gingers. Then this is the main thing that is coming for the plants. And artificially means we are doing humans intervening is there. This artificial thing, it is done mainly for our thing. For example, in our earlier time there was consideration that roses are only red in color, but we have white roses, mango plants. There are some mango plants are there which can grow in within 6 to 1 year and can produce mangoes. Then many such examples are there. This was very commonly used in the agriculture field in order to get more fruit or more income in less time. So this technique will be used. It's very simple. You have not have seen this. For example, if you are taking a rose plant, they purposely use stem. It depends upon plant to plant. They use stem. What they will do is the part of the stem they will cut it off, cut, and there they will attach with another plant, or they will mix with some insecticide if they want to control this plainy plant growth over there, or they will insert another plant, tie over here, which is known as grafting. Then they will insert this to a pot and they will make that to grow. So that is what artificially three ways we can do. One is cutting, by simply cut this and keep somewhere there, the stem will grow, it can grow into another part. Grafting, we can attach two needed things. Then layering means after grafting, we have to make it to grow. So these are the major asexual reproduction types we can see in plants. So by this I am concluding this section. If there is any doubt, please put in the comment box. Or if there is any mistake I did or something is not explained, or examples are not correct, please comment it in the box where I can reply you back. Thank you.